Welcome to NTD News Today. I'm Kevin Hogan. Our top news today is on gun policy in Michigan. Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed a red flag gun law yesterday. She did so just outside Detroit with state lawmakers and people affected by gun violence in attendance, one of them being gun safety advocate Gabby Giffords, a former Arizona congresswoman who survived a gunshot to the head. Governor Whitmer said, quote, "We have heard too many times from those who knew a mass shooter who had expressed concern in advance about that mass shooter's intentions." She says the new law is a mechanism to step in and save lives. Joining us live to discuss this is John Lott, the president of the Crime Prevention Research Center. John, it's great to have you with us. Is this the right thing to do to protect the public as well as law-abiding gun owners?
Unfortunately, I understand the desire there, but I don't think it's a very serious solution. The only thing that red flag laws do is take away a person's legally owned gun. About 99% of the time, they're used to stop people who you're concerned may commit suicide. And if you believe somebody is really suicidal, simply taking away their gun, only doing that, is not a very serious solution. There's not actually already a better law on the books in Michigan as well as all the other states, and that is these civil commitment or involuntary commitment type laws. What happens in those cases is that if somebody's concerned that somebody's a danger to themselves or others, they'll call the police. Police will come out and evaluate them. If the police believe that there's a reasonable probability that the person is in fact a danger to themselves or others, they can take them in for an immediate mental health evaluation. Depending on the state, you'll have either 2 or 3 experts look at the person, and if they agree that there's a reasonable chance that the person is a danger to themselves or others, there can be an immediate court hearing. If somebody can't afford a lawyer, one's provided for them. And then at that point, the judge will hear evidence. And if the judge thinks it's likely that somebody's a danger to themselves or others, then the judge has a range of options. They can say, look, if you voluntarily go and see outpatient treatment from a mental health care expert, we'll have you come back in a week or 2 and we will reevaluate the situation. They could take away the person's driver's license. They could take away the person's gun. And in the most extreme case, they can go and involuntarily commit the person. The problem with red flag laws is they don't have any of those types of protections. The only thing that a judge sees is a piece of paper with a written complaint. He doesn't talk to the person that the complaint is made about. He doesn't talk to the people who made the complaint. There's no hearing when the gun is initially taken away from the person. And again, the only thing that's done is just a fraction of what you're able to do under involuntary commitment type rules, and that is take away a person's gun. If somebody is really suicidal, or if they're really a danger to other people, how is only taking away their legally owned gun going to stop them from killing themselves? There's so many other ways.
John, I know you point on some of these personal methods of intervening here in terms of the alternatives to red flag guns. Now let's talk about the enforcement here. Michigan's red flag gun law, some local sheriffs said they're not going to enforce it if they don't think it's constitutional. What do you think is going to happen here?
Right. Well, there's due process type concerns that are there. You're taking away somebody's basic right to self-defense, and you're doing it without a court hearing. You're just doing it based solely on a written complaint. The person can't challenge the evidence that's being provided. There are real due process concerns. And, even when there is eventually a hearing with red flag laws, you're often talking about $10,000 or so cost to go and hire a lawyer to go and represent you in those hearings. That's a lot of money. The vast majority of people who go through that process don't hire a lawyer because even if they want to keep their guns, the only thing that happens to somebody in those cases is to take away their guns. And I may want to keep my guns, but is it worth $10,000 to be able to do it? Most people aren't willing, even if they have the money, aren't willing to spend $10,000 on that.
Talking about some of the financial ramifications here, a case series in the Annals of Internal Medicine says extreme risk protection orders are intended to prevent mass shootings. That paper in 2019 by Wintemute, Pear, and Schleimer found that 80% of those committing violence in public on multiple victims make threats or behave in a manner suggesting they're going to attack beforehand. Does this lend any support to the case for red flag laws?
Well, I don't think it's a very serious study. Look, there's so many things that people have Monday morning quarterbacking on, things that happen that they go and attach additional significance to. Over half the mass public shooters in the last 25 years were actually seeing mental health care professionals within 6 months of their attack. And yet in not one single case did any of those mental health care professionals, these are experts, some of them internationally known experts, were they able to identify any of these individuals as a danger to themselves or others? To go and suggest that others who are not even experts to go and be able to do that. Look, you read the diaries, you read other things. There's so many times that people will afterwards will say, well, I should have understood this. I should have seen this. But the fact is, I think it's extremely difficult, and it just doesn't happen.
Well, John Lott, thanks for helping us assess the validity of that study. President of the Crime Prevention Research Center, John Lott, really great to have you with us today.
Thank you very much.